Do you remember the incident where the King's Court in Kurunegala was demolished? Well, today, the court delivered the judgment on those accused of demolishing it. Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Mariam Ganavijaya. First up, here's a look at the headlines.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Harupena discounts of up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses from Vikramarchi Opticians.
Five people, including the former mayor of Kurunegala, Sirasa Sanjeeva, sentenced to 3 years in prison for demolishing the King's Court in Kurunegala. Increase in VAT will cause inflation to rise by 2%. Statement from the State Minister of Finance. Recovered the looted money before imposing taxes. A strong message from ex-president CBK. Opposition leader points out many issues with the proposed solar power project.
මේ solar panel එක ආයු කාලය අවුරුදු 25. හැබැයි ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ආයු කාලය මේගොල්ලෝ ඉල්ලනවා අවුරුදු 35ක්. ඇයි මේ වැඩිපුර අවුරුදු 10ක් ඉල්ලන්නේ?
SLPP prepares for the party convention. Sanath Jayasuriya gets a new posting at Sri Lanka cricket.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Harupena discounts of up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses from Vikramarchi Opticians.
Former Kurunegala Mayor Sirasa Sanjeeva and 4 others were sentenced to 3 years of rigorous imprisonment after they were found guilty of demolishing the King's Assembly Hall or the King's Court, dating back to the era of King Bhunakabahu in Kurunegala.
The sentence was handed down by Kurunegala High Court Judge Lal Bandara, who also ordered the accused to pay a sum of 13.7 million rupees as a compensation for the damages caused.
The King's Assembly Hall, dating back to the era of King Bhunakabahu in Kurunegala, was demolished by the Kurunegala Municipal Council using a backhoe loader on the 14th of July 2020, citing the need to expand the road. During that period, there was a serious condemnation over the matter, and then Kurunegala Mayor Sirasa Sanjeeva justified his reasons for doing so. Later on, legal action was instituted against then Kurunegala Mayor Sirasa Sanjeeva, then Kurunegala Urban Commissioner Pradeep Nishanta Tilakaratna, Acting Superintendent Ilaldin Zulfikar and backhoe operator Lakshman Priyantha. The accused were charged under 5 indictments, and Kurunegala Provincial High Court Judge Lal Bandara, delivering the judgment, said that each offence carries a sentence of 1 year. Thus, each suspect received a sentence of 3 years each and was also fined 50,000 rupees each.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says that the proposed 700 megawatt solar power project on the Punakari River in Kilinochchi is an attempt to pave the way for large-scale corruption. The opposition leader made a special statement clarifying these matters today.
මේ United Solar Energy කියන ආයතනය කරන්නේ
This company, named United Solar Energy, is engaged in distribution of solar panels. The largest solar farm in Australia is 400 megawatts. But the government of Sri Lanka wants United Solar Energy, a company that has no experience in carrying out such a project, to launch a project in Sri Lanka that produces 300 megawatts more than the largest solar farm in Australia. The largest battery storage facility in Australia is 1 gigawatt hour. United Solar Energy is going to build in Punakarin a battery storage project that has 1.5 gigawatt hours. 1 million panels of 700 watts will have to be put up to generate 700 megawatts. It has been estimated that this needs at least 782 acres. The lifetime of a single solar panel is 25 years, but the time period of the project is 35 years. Why are they asking for an additional 10 years? We have a suspicion as to if this is being done to simply enjoy the possession of 782 acres of this land for an additional 10 years. The head of United Solar Energy is a person named Richard Vargas. He is a dealer and distributor of solar panels. The accountant of the company is Sujeeva Nishan from Tangol. Hero Tilakaratna is a property sales agent in Victoria. He is also on the director board of this company. Lex Chandrasiri is a food and beverage manager at a hotel in Victoria. Shan Balasuriya is a web designer in Victoria. Can a director board like this implement a project to set up a 700 megawatt solar power plant, a battery storage facility and constructing transmission lines? Do they have the capability? This is a serious issue.
Journalists questioned State Minister of Tourism Diana Gamage about the proposal regarding cannabis cultivation.
The Gazette will be signed by the President and work in this regard will commence in January. Since this concerns the export of cannabis, this is a matter that comes under the BOI. We will have to bring foreign investors and then commence work.
Minister of Public Security Tiranala says that the strongest measures will be taken against the drug menace and underworld activities and that he would stand firmly in support of these measures. The minister made the statement when he met senior police officials.
Minister of Public Security met with senior police officers at the Police Criminal Records Division in Torrington, Colombo. Acting Police Chief Deshabandhu Tennakone and many other senior officials attended this meeting.
මම ඕගොල්ලන් ඉස්සරහට ඇවිල්ලා වැඩක් කරලා මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණොත් මම ඕගොල්ලන් වෙනුවෙන් පෙනී හිටිනවා.
If any problem arises when taking action, I will definitely stand up in support of you. I do not need any bribes for that. I would not accept any bribes either. I want the job to be done. I have a target to make major changes in the police within the next 6 months. I have a target to eradicate crime in the country. If I set a target, I make sure to achieve it. That is how I achieved progress all these years. Let's all work together and get this work done. I will stand up for you. If any issue arises, I will not let anyone meddle around. If anyone tries to influence you and tries to ask you to help them out, do not do so. If anyone tries to influence you, give me a call and let me know. You can also inform the IGP. Do not give in to any influence. Let's all work together here.
පොලිස් පොතුමාට කියන්න මට කිසිම බලපෑමකට යටත් වෙන්න එපා. අපි සියලු දෙනා එකතු වෙලා මේ වැඩේ කරමු.
107 kilograms of drugs that were seized during a raid conducted in 2019 were destroyed in Puttalam today. The drugs that were destroyed were those seized by the Police Narcotics Bureau, the Police Special Task Force and the Sri Lanka Navy. This stock of heroin was taken to Puttalam from the Western Province High Court.
සමහර වෙලාවට ඇතම් අය ඒක වැරදි අර්ථකථනයකුත් කරනවා මේ මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය නොයෙකුත් ආකාරයෙන් නැවත.
Sometimes people misinterpret and say that these drugs that are seized find its way back to the society again. The media has reported on several incidents where drugs seized by the police making its way back into the hands of several individuals. Therefore, there is such an opinion among the general public. In 2019, the 107 kilograms of heroin was seized during an operation conducted by the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Navy. We are taking these stocks of drugs from the Colombo High Court to destroy them. In a few more days, we will be destroying over 1,000 kilograms of heroin. There is more heroin with the government analyst. But since those were raids carried out before the new act, we will have to wait until the end of those cases for those stocks of heroin to be destroyed. In the future, when we seize these drugs, we will take steps to destroy these drugs swiftly, and by that we will remove these drugs completely from the society.
විනීතභාවයක් ඇතුව මේ මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය සමාජයෙන් තුරන් කිරීම සඳහා කරන කටයුතු විශාල දායකත්වයක් එමගින් ලැබෙනවා.
This stock of drugs was destroyed in Puttalam this evening.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Pedamuna Convention will be held tomorrow and it will be presided over by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Parliamentarian Rohit Abegunawardena elaborated on the SLPP convention that will take place tomorrow at the Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium.
The National Convention of the SLPP will commence exactly at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Representatives not only from the Colombo district but from all districts of the country will participate in this convention. We can see that some parties are hiding and are feeling bad about this. When we go through social media, we can clearly see that.
හැංගිලා ඉන්න සමහර පක්ෂවල රිදිලා තියෙනවා. ඒකට දැනිලා තියෙන බව අපිට පේනවා සමාජ මාධ්‍ය දිහා බැලුවට පස්සේ.
මොකද මේ එනායගේ ආරක්ෂාව ලොකු සංඛ්‍යාවක් වෙන හින්දා මෙතන ලොකු ආරක්ෂාවක් දෙන්න කොහොමද ආරක්ෂාව සම්බන්ධ
අපි කැම්බල්
පාක් එකේ මැයි දිනේ කරා. අපේ මැයි දිනේට ආපු කිසිම කෙනෙකුට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණේ නැහැ. ඉතින්
We conducted the May Day rally at Campbell Park. What happened in May 2022 was a result of conspiracy. There is a law in the country and it's enforced in a proper manner. I'm thankful to President Ranil Wickremesinghe for ending the anarchy. The state was anarchic on the 9th of May in 2022. Now it's not there anymore. Because of that, the country is well secured now. Nobody can do whatever as they please.
ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. රටේ ඕන විදිහට එක එක්කෙනාට නීති අතර ගන්න පුළුවන් කමක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. පොල්ලෙන් එකයි, කුල්ලෙන් එකයි, වතුර බාස්කට් එකෙන් එකයි. තුනක් හම්බ වෙනවා. තුන කාලා ෂෝක් එකට යනවා.
Leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa joined the religious program organised for the 80th birthday of the chief incumbent of the Hunupitiya Gangarama Temple, Venerable Dr. Gnanissara Thera. The former president met the chief incumbent and also joined the almsgiving held this afternoon. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa also met with representatives of the Global Tamil Forum. The discussion was held at his residence in Vijayarama, Colombo. The Royal Highness Princess Anne, the Princess Royal of the United Kingdom, will visit Sri Lanka next year. Sri Lanka's Foreign Affairs Ministry said that Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, the Princess Royal of the United Kingdom, will visit Sri Lanka from the 10th to the 13th of January 2024. She will be accompanied by her spouse, Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence. Now, Her Royal Highness has been invited by the government of Sri Lanka to participate in events connected with the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the UK.
Newsfirst with the people.
Moving on in more local news, Parliament green-lighted the nation's budget for next year, sparking debate about its impact come the 1st of January. Here's a look.
Mahinda Yapabewardena, Speaker of Parliament, endorsed a certificate on the appropriation bill for the year 2024, the value-added tax amendment and finance bills that were passed in Parliament. The national budget for the upcoming fiscal year was formulated and presented amidst the backdrop of a severe economic downturn, the most significant in our nation's recorded history. This year's budget allocates significant increases in funding for government employee salaries, retirement benefits, poverty relief programs like Aswasama, education, healthcare and road infrastructure development. Government employees will benefit from a 10,000 rupee increase in their living allowance effective 1st of January 2024. While the policy takes effect in January, disbursement of the adjusted amount will begin in April. The arrears from January to April will be due to government employees in installments from October next year. Our nation currently operates under a program tied to the International Monetary Fund's credit facility, necessitating adherence to stringent economic policies. While this year's budget presents diverse expenditure proposals, the primary challenge lies in securing adequate state revenue, as strongly highlighted by the International Monetary Fund's December 12th staff report accompanying the second tranche disbursement. Extract.
Even with revenue measures adopted so far, government revenue remains substantially lower than in other emerging markets and middle-income countries.
End of extract. The government's primary revenue generating proposal centres an increase in the value-added tax rate from 15% to 18% effective 1st of January. Additionally, nearly 100 previously exempt goods and services will be brought under the VAT umbrella. Education Secretary of the Frontline Socialists Party, speaking on the Pathikada programme, commented on the VAT amendment.
The
goods and services tax collection for 2022 amounted to 876 billion rupees, with projections for 2023 reaching 1,376 billion rupees. The new budget document proposes a further increase, aiming to generate 2,235 billion rupees in GST revenue for 2024. On a per-household basis, average monthly GST contributions translated to 12,586 rupees in 2020, rising to 19,770 rupees in 2023. The proposed 2024 budget estimates this figure to reach 32,112 rupees, necessitating careful consideration of its potential impact on households with median incomes of approximately 50,000 rupees per month. The proposed VAT expansion to include wheat flour, for example, could lead to a domino effect, raising the prices of bread, buns and other related products. Similarly, the inclusion of petrol and diesel in the VAT would impact the transportation sector and potentially contribute to broader price increases across various goods and services. When it is applied to cooking gas, the prices of all meals will increase.
State Finance Minister Shehan Semasingh has said that the increase in VAT will have some effect.
There will be an impact, notably concerning the removal of exemptions. Our projections indicate an inflationary impact of approximately 2%. The central bank stands ready to support with measures to mitigate this potential effect. However, maintaining the current VAT structure may compromise the government's ability to achieve its projected revenue targets. Following the tax hike, the people will not be able to survive with the existing salary scales. The prices of all goods will increase. Will relief be offered? We have never said the reforms have not brought any discomfort to the people. We are cognizant of the issues. If we resort to making popular decisions and deviate from the program, we will experience a negative impact. Who will be held accountable then? We will fall to levels below what we were at back in 2022.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga expressed her views regarding the tax increase.
The government must have an income. Our country charges some of the lowest taxes. That is why we give everything for free. Education, health, transport are all almost free. Therefore, the government has to increase taxes. The people who earn don't want to pay taxes because everything is given for free to others. But I am against massive taxes being imposed on the poor and the middle class. The solution to that is to conduct investigations and recover the money that was stolen by the Rajapaksas. The World Bank and various other institutions have procedures to recover this money. I have said this before as well. If the money that they stole is brought back into the country, the people will not have to be taxed so much.
MP Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam expressed the following views in Batiklo.
The VAT has targeted the poor and middle class. Those who are directly responsible for looting this country and use state power to amass massive amounts have not been affected by the VAT. No action has been taken against those who looted public funds. In addition, those people are with the government as well. People with low intellect made decisions and the common man is impacted. The President has not understood that the people are shouldering this burden. He is not an economist. Lawyers have no such understanding. The former President made wrong decisions due to the lack of awareness. Though he is not bad, the people who surrounded the former president are advising him.
The United States of America has welcomed the IMF Executive Board approval for Sri Lanka's first extended fund facility review.
US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chong said that the United States welcomes the positive news of the International Monetary Fund Board about the completion of the first extended fund facility review with Sri Lanka, providing access to about $337 million for Sri Lanka to use to support its economic reforms and policies. She said that this crucial step for Sri Lanka emphasizes the continued importance of sustained reforms and improved governance for the country's progress while safeguarding the most vulnerable. The ambassador said that the United States will continue to support Sri Lanka's path to economic stability and prosperity. On Wednesday, the International Monetary Fund Board completed the first review under the 48-month extended fund facility with Sri Lanka, providing the country with access to about $337 million to support its economic policies and reforms.
An investigation revealed that the woman who was found dead close to her house in Velewata, Kahawata died after her throat was slit.
Now, a post-mortem revealed that she suffered blunt force trauma to the head as well. This crime has taken place in an area that is close to Kotakethana, where multiple women were murdered over a period of time in the recent past.
71-year-old Vinitha Jayasundara was found dead close to her residence in Velavatta, Kahavatta. She was a mother of 3 and was living with one of her daughters. On the day of the murder, her daughter had gone to work as usual and returned home at around 3:30 in the afternoon. In her statement to the police, she said that she saw her mother's lifeless body when she returned home. The body was found several feet away from the kitchen, which is located at the rear of the house. She called me and said that her mother was on the ground. Then I was told that the doctor had sent the 1990 unit. Thereafter I was told that she had passed away. Sri Lanka police suspect that the woman was killed in the living room and her body was moved out via the front door and later placed at the back of the house. Sri Lanka police added that the investigation revealed that the bloodstains in the living room had been washed off. Police K9 unit Marsha was brought to the location and it was reported that the K9 unit had not left the garden area of the crime scene. The murder was reported in Velavatta, and within a 6-kilometer radius of this crime scene is the Kotaketana area, where multiple women have been brutally murdered in recent years. Since 2008, a total of 18 murders, including 3 double homicides, have been reported from Kotaketana, Dambulvala, Varapitiya and Opatavatta areas.
And in your weather update, although the heavy rains have receded, residents of many areas in the Mathura district are inconvenienced due to accumulated water levels not receding. They say that although everyone talks about this issue, no proper solution has been given.
Low-lying areas and houses in many areas of the Mathura district got flooded due to the overflow of the Nilwala river. Although the area is currently not experiencing any rain, it can be seen that the rainwater that was accumulated in Deniyaya, Pitabadara, Moravaka and Akurassa has flowed into low-lying areas. This is the state of low-lying areas and byroads in Aturaliya, Kadduwa, Malimbada, Balletota and Polgahagoda. Newsfirst correspondent said that the same situation can be seen in Dampalla, Kadduwa, Ganegoda, Kakunavela and Malimbada North as well. The irrigation engineer of the Mathura district says that a project to remove blockages in the area around the salinity barrier of the Bandathara bridge in the Nilwala river has commenced.
We took measures to reduce the accumulated water levels. The moment the water levels of the river goes down, we can bring down the water levels as well. That is what we did. When heavy rains are experienced in a short period of time, the water levels also go up drastically. A project is underway to remove blockages in the area around the salinity barrier of the Bandathara bridge in the Nilwala river. We hope to reduce the water levels through this.
Disaster management officials point out that a formal urban development plan is needed for a permanent solution.
The farming community had an issue regarding the salinity barrier. According to their request, a by-canal was also cut. However, after that, the area started getting flooded. There is a problem with the reclamation of lowlands. I believe that a formal urban development plan is needed for a permanent solution.
A demonstration was held in Kenya, Trincomalee against the sale of Sri Lanka's valuable resources to foreign nations.
The People's Struggle Movement organized this protest and distributed leaflets. The protesters moved from the Kuttikarachi junction in Kenya to Buhari junction and then moved to the Kenya bus stand.
මේ වෙද්දී අපි දන්නවා රට බරපතල අර්බුදයක ආර්ථික දේශපාලන අර්බුදයක තියෙන. ඊයේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ කියනවා දැන්
The country is in crisis. Yesterday, Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the journey on the rope bridge is over. He said not to cause issues. Lands are being sold to India and China, and he dances to the tunes of the US. The serious situation is that due to the agreements that were signed with India, many square miles in Trincomalee are to be given to India for an energy zone. Ranil Wickremesinghe has signed the agreement. Plans are afoot to remove people from a 2-kilometer radius surrounding the Trincomalee clock tower. Ranil Wickremesinghe is selling Trincomalee for the needs of Adani, Ambani and Modi.
ඉන්දියාවේ අම්බානිට ඕන විදියට ඉන්දියාවේ මෝදිට ඕන විදියට රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ත්‍රිකුණාමල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේම විකුණන්න යන්නේ. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ
The Ranil Mahinda alliance is secretly entering into agreements to sell the resources of the country. The drinkability fuel tanks are being given to Adani under a secret agreement with Modi for the purpose of building an economic research center. If that is enacted, the people will lose their lands.
Climate change has become a serious global concern, and recently a large delegation from Sri Lanka attended the COP28 summit held in Dubai.
Now, however, despite attending all of these discussions and speaking about climate change and the positive steps that can be taken to mitigate them, what's really happening in Sri Lanka paints a very different picture.
Two months ago, the Ampara Land Utilization Committee notified the President's office that 1,402 hectares of government-owned forest reserves and other forest land have been identified for potential partitioning and distribution among local residents. This action was reportedly taken based on an order issued by the President's office. Of the 1,402 hectares, 325 hectares belong to the Sengamua Forest Reserve. The committee has identified that 275 acres of this land were illegally occupied by several individuals between 2012 and 2018. The remaining 75 acres were illegally occupied between January 2019 and September 2023, and these encroachments have continued beyond September 2023. These illegal activities appear to be part of a systematic deforestation effort, reminiscent of the Vilpattu Forest Reserve's destruction. Instead of directly felling large trees, the approach involves clearing undergrowth and establishing temporary shelters, followed by burning fires at the base of large trees, ultimately causing their demise. Disturbingly, the Pothuil Pradeshia Sabha has seemingly legitimized these encroachments by establishing a settlement and even erecting a signboard. The most recent field study documenting this destruction was conducted in March 2021 by the Pothuil Pradeshia Sabha secretary, civil officers and military personnel. Despite the study's recommendations, the powerful political forces behind this activity have reportedly allowed the destruction to continue unabated. This ongoing deforestation in the east of Sri Lanka echoes the devastation of the Vilpattu Forest Reserve. Action TV will bring more details on this critical issue.
The program launch and policy dialogue of the Sustainable National Anticipatory Actions Through Preparedness, also known as SNAP, in South Asia was held in Colombo yesterday.
The Sustainable National Anticipatory Actions Through Preparedness launch was co-organized by the Disaster Management Center and the Asian Disaster Preparedness Center with the support of USAID BHA. The program brought together key officials, experts and stakeholders from national disaster management organizations, response agencies and humanitarian organizations across the region. The program was instrumental in advancing shared goals for disaster resilience in the South Asian region.
What we've seen over the years is increasing focus and understanding and acknowledgement on the importance of preparedness, but also the elements of preparedness for response. SNAP, I think, uniquely intends to focus on is furthering that ability of each of your countries to work and cooperate and leverage the resources that are already available, recognizing the unique context in South Asia, the successes, but also the challenges.
State Minister of Defence, Director General of Disaster Management Centre Sri Lanka, Regional Director for South and Central Asia of USAID BHA, Director for the Preparedness for Response and Recovery at ADPC and other dignitaries were in attendance.
This framework is not just a set of guidelines, it is a proof to our collective determination to forge a safer future. The journey has been challenging but immensely rewarding. Thanks to collaborations with regional and international partners. These collaborations have not only strengthened our capabilities, but have sown the seeds for nationally qualified instructors who will carry the torch forward.
SNAP South Asia is a program hosted by APP and ADPC under Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and this program is mainly on the sustainable national anticipatory action through preparedness, and in this program we have 7 partner countries including Sri Lanka. These countries together are having 2-day workshop on the anticipatory actions and activities, how these countries have worked out on their subject of disaster management.
Topics such as enhancing capacities of community volunteers as tools for early action in saving lives, establishing the National Disaster Response Force and its role in the national response system were discussed during the opening session of the program.
Russia has become a front-runner in Sri Lanka's quest for nuclear power, aiming to address the country's energy dependence and ambitious renewable energy goals.
Recent discussions between Sri Lankan and Russian officials focused on a potential cooperation in building nuclear power plants. Sri Lanka, currently heavily reliant on imported fossil fuels, hopes to generate 70% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030. Nuclear power has emerged as a potential contributor, with the Sri Lanka Atomic Energy Authority giving its initial approval. Professor S.R.D. Rosa, chairman of the Sri Lanka Atomic Energy Authority, briefed the Russian delegation on Moscow's proposals for offshore and onshore nuclear plants. He confirmed the proposals' in-principle approval by the Sri Lanka Atomic Energy Authority and its submission to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for further processing. The International Atomic Energy Agency reviewed Sri Lanka's readiness for a nuclear program in 2022, paving the way for further development.
Tharu Painted discounts. Enjoy up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses this Christmas with Vikramarachi Opticians.
A special program was held today under the 3rd phase of the LOLC Divisavya program in line with the Christmas season.
The program was held in the Monaragala, Badulla, Jaffna and Trincomalee districts. School books, school bags and stationery were distributed to schools with less than 150 children. School books and stationery required for a year were distributed to the students of the Gampangua Primary School in Monaragala, Madayaya Primary School in Badulla, St. Mary's Roman Catholic Vidyalaya in Jaffna and the Thirukoneshwaram Vidyalaya in Trincomalee. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the Ministry of Education and the LOLC group.
In a vibrant display of creativity and resilience, the School for the Deaf in Ratmalana hosted a captivating art exhibition.
Through their 144 diverse artworks, students of the School for the Deaf showcased their emotions, experiences and dreams. The art exhibition saw the attendance of the Anglican Bishop of Colombo, Dushanta Rodrigo, who acknowledged the students' artistic talent and commended the school's initiative in fostering inclusivity. Students of the School for the Blind in Ratmalana and Nuffield School for the Blind and Deaf in Jaffna also showcased their artworks by bringing their unique perspectives and artistic styles to the platform.
The International Organization for Migration, or the IOM, along with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, launched the Regional Manual on Reintegration for South Asian Migrant Workers in Colombo today.
The Reintegration Knowledge Forum was held in Colombo with the participation of representatives of 11 labour-lending Asian countries, civil members, private sector, trade unions and Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation.
Migration has historically shaped Sri Lanka's economy and social landscape, mirroring trends in our regional counterparts since the 1980s. We were witnessed a surge in employment-driven out-migration. The Sri Lankan government advocates labour migration as a pivotal employment strategy, focusing on remittance and full employment. In October 2023, Sri Lanka adopted the National Policy and Action Plan on Migration for Employment for 2023 to 2027. This policy emphasized multi-sectoral support for returning migrants, reintegration, and developing human and social capital, linking labour migration with national development. The government is committed to facilitating migrant workers' return and reintegration, recognizing their significant contributions. Our migrant workers whose foreign remittance account for approximately 8% of Sri Lanka's GDP, return with valuable skills and savings. It's our collective responsibility to ensure their sustainable reintegration.
The migrants are the largest contributor to some of our economies, and in all the countries. They make a substantial contribution to our economy, whether with remittances, financial or social remittances that they bring onto the country. So the state has a responsibility. It's not only because as a sovereign state, the state has the responsibility to ensure the return and well-being of its nationals. Equally important to acknowledge is the contribution that they make during this migration journey.
We know that the labour migration landscape is very complex. You all know this better than anyone else. And it really requires policy solutions, not just policy solutions, but very quick, rapid, and well-informed responses at the same time. We had large numbers of migrant workers returning after COVID or during COVID, and that really posed a challenge to many governments, including here in Sri Lanka, but also Bangladesh, many of the countries represented here. This reintegration, especially the labor market reintegration, is very, very important so that it is a smooth, peaceful, and mutually beneficial experience for everyone.
The manual is being piloted in Sri Lanka by the International Organization for Migration, International Labour Organization and UN Women in support of the Ministry of Labour and Foreign Employment and the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau as part of the Colombo Process Thematic Area Working Group meetings in Colombo.
And in your sports news update, a former Sri Lanka cricket captain Sanath Jayasuriya has been appointed as a cricket consultant for SLC. Sri Lanka Cricket said that former Sri Lanka cricket captain Sanath Jayasuriya will be overseeing all teams that attend the SLC High Performance Centre. Jayasuriya was the previous SLC Technical Committee chairman as well as the chief of selectors. Having represented Sri Lanka in 110 test matches, 445 ODI matches and 31 T20I matches, Sanath Jayasuriya holds many records. Sanath Jayasuriya, who represented Sri Lanka in the 1996 Cricket World Cup, won the Player of the Tournament award.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you very much for watching. Good night.